I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we're taking a look at Old Man Logan issue number 8. Logan is on the warpath yet again for all those who would do him and his extended family wrong. Who will live? Who will die? Let's hop into the newest issue and find out together, shall we? Okay then, so as we join the comic, Old Man Logan is having a terrifying nightmare. Well, actually, it's more of a flashback to the day his world fell to the supervillain onslaught. By which, of course, I mean in the original Old Man Logan story when all the supervillains in the Marvel Universe teamed up to take over the whole world, not the actual X-Men supervillain onslaught. I know that can be confusing sometimes. Young Jean Grey, who just couldn't help but read Logan's mind at this time because, you know, hey, she's a psychic and she can just hear everyone's thoughts all the time sometimes. She attempts to comfort the aging knucklehead by once again assuring him that this is a different place, a different time, and the horror that befell him and his family isn't going to befall his new family here and now. This is all starting to get a little repetitive for you, Old Man Logan constantly needing to be reminded that this isn't his world, then well, join the club. What follows next is essentially a road trip wherein, using Cerebra's help, young Jean Grey is able to take Old Man Logan to all the important places from the original Battle of New York. All the while, we're treated to more flashbacks to how exactly New York and the world fell to the supervillains. We see the Punisher and Daredevil getting killed in Times Square. Giant Man Hank Pym gets an absolutely awesome moment where he ends up crushing Crossbones to death under his giant foot before he himself ends up getting killed. It's here Logan also remembers the last moments he spent with Jubilee before her very untimely death, and how in a way this new young Jean Grey has become yet another in a long line of young women that Wolverine is choosing to mentor. Jean's final surprise for Logan is to actually take him to a bar somewhere in Canada to meet some of his old friends. Captain America is there, as is Clint Barton, and even some of his Alpha Flight buddies like Puck show up. Jubilee is there too, and understandably she has some questions like, hey, how come you haven't seen me since you've returned? And Old Man Logan says, you know, that she was the hardest one to see. And yeah, that's basically the end of the comic. Jean and Old Man Logan share a nice moment outside in the early hours of the morning after celebrating with good friends, and Logan's beginning to think that perhaps, just perhaps, he's beginning to like it here in this world. Old Man Logan number 8 was an enjoyable, sweet, if ultimately kind of unnecessary comic. I mean, it just kind of feels to me like we've seen Old Man Logan deal with his place in this new world multiple times before, and yet here we go again with him feeling all bad about it. I know brooding is kind of in the DNA of Wolverine. I was just hoping that, you know, this older, more mature version of Wolverine had gotten over it at some point. I liked the buddy road trip aspect of this story, and I thought it was cool to see some important heroes' deaths during the Old Man Logan timeline without, you know, being too shameless and without, you know, kind of going back to that well too hard. I'm also really excited for what the next arc of Old Man Logan is going to be, because it's going to see him returning to Japan, which, you know, is always cool stuff. Until then, though, I would feel comfortable giving this comic a 7 out of 10, and it's definitely going to end up being a decent bookend for the first trade when this comes out. And hey, speaking of trades, wouldn't you know it if you hop on over to Book Depository right now, the original Mark Millar Old Man Logan story, the Brian Michael Bendis Secret Wars tie-in story starring Old Man Logan, and the first volume of this new Jeff Lemire Old Man Logan story are available now. And if you buy them through my link, not only will you be getting yourself a little something, but you'll be helping support the show, and wouldn't that just make it so everybody wins? You can check that Book Depository link right down in the description of this video. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and while you're here, why not check out another video I have on offer? Or maybe if you're feeling in a supportive mood, you want to like or subscribe. And if you want to support the creation of more videos just like this one, then please by all means check out the Cape Joel Patreon. A little bit goes a very long way, and I will see you all next time.